We're going from 0 to 60 with the Emperor's New Groove. So let's get cracking! Hello, all my explorers, and welcome back to Loren's Adventures Out There. And if you are new, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. My name is Loren, and I'm with Castle Escapes and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We do unboxings and hauls, pins, box swaps, Disney news, Disney reviews, and more. So if that sounds fun to you, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell for notifications and do like this post, as it really does help us out. So we are continuing our series from 0 to 60, which is our look at the films of Walt Disney Animation Studios in chronological order. So we started with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and we will be going all the way to the 60th film, Encanto. And today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite films. It is 2000's The Emperor's New Groove. I can't believe I have made it to the 40th film. We've only got 20 more films to go, people. We're 2/3 of the way there, so that's quite an achievement for me. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking with us. The Emperor's New Groove, it is about a kind of self-centered emperor named Cusco, who is turned into a llama by his ex-advisor, Yzma. And he basically runs away and ends up in the middle of the jungle and has to team up with a local farmer named Pacha, who he agrees to take him back to the palace, and hopefully they can do this before Yzma catches him. So the Emperor's New Groove had a very interesting history. There was a lot of problems in development. So basically what happened was Roger Ehlers, who was one of the co-directors of The Lion King. He had a conversation with Thomas Schumacher, who was the head of Walt Disney Animation Studios at the time. They wanted to find something to do, and Schumacher was really into doing something around ancient cultures. And so he held up 3 pictures, one of Inca, Aztec, and Maya cultures. And Ehlers chose the Incan culture because he was just kind of intrigued by the possibilities, and was really interested in kind of the Inca creation myth. So they went to start developing the film. They wanted it to be like this epic musical, very kind of dramatic and things like that. At that time, it was called Kingdom of the Sun, and the story was loosely based on Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper. And it's basically centered around a greedy emperor who just kind of got bored with his life and wanted to explore. And so he finds a peasant that is, that looks like him, and they switch places. And Yzma finds out about this and turns the emperor into a llama. And then she forces the peasant to do her bidding because, he doesn't want to be found out that he's not the actual emperor. At the same time, he starts falling in love with the betrothed of the emperor. And at the emperor, though, starts understanding that there's more to life than just ruling and having money and things like that. And he starts falling in love with a llama herder named Mala. So basically, it was going to be more like a romantic comedy with music, but have a little bit more epic drama to it. After the box office performance of Pocahontas and Hunchback of Notre Dame, studio executives felt like the film was a little too dramatic and needed a lot more comedy. And so they brought in Mark Dindal, who had worked on Cats Don't Dance, to bring a little bit more comedy into it. Well, at the same time, Allers, he personally called Sting to do the music for Emperor's New Groove. And Sting said that he would do it as long as his wife, Trudy Seiler, could do a documentary on the making of the film, which did come out and was called The Sweatbox, which I actually really need to see because I have not seen this film. And so I got to look that up a little bit later. But anyway, he wrote 8 songs for the movie. Well, in the summer of 1997, both Allers and Dindal would serve as directors. And they kept, doing the story, developing the story, trying to add more comedy. Studio executives were getting very frustrated because the film was taking quite a while to do. And, at one point, one of the studio executives threatened to shut the production down. Well, Allers was also not happy with the more comedic turn of the story. And so he decided to step down as a director and let, the comedy ensue. And so basically, Fulmer and Dindal decided to shut down the production for about 6 months and try to get everything in order. And so a lot of the animators who were working on the film went to go help Eric Goldberg on the Rhapsody in Blue segment for Fantasia 2000 while they were shut down. And then they started changing the story to be more of a comedy. They changed the name of Manco to Cusco because they learned that in Japanese it meant a very bad euphemism for female reproductive organ, starting with the letter C. So basically that's what that was. So they changed the name to Cusco. Yzma remained in the story, but instead she originally had kind of this sidekick that was made of rocks, and they changed it to Kronk, who was kind of more of a dim-witted person. They wanted Patrick Warburton to do the voice, and in the tradition that he did in Seinfeld. And then they also made Pacha a more wise character and had him team up with Cusco instead, and he was voiced by John Goodman. The Prince and the Pauper kind of story was abandoned for more slapstick comedy, and became more of like a buddy film where the two protagonists, Cusco and Pacha, would try to travel to the palace and try to get there before Yzma and Kronk. So Sting had written the 8 songs for Kingdom of the Sun, but now that they had the Emperor's New Groove, a lot of the songs didn't make sense, and so they had to go and tell Sting that they weren't going to use his songs. And, he was actually very upset about it. And so they said, okay, we'll take 3 of the deleted songs and put them at the end of the film. And then they asked him to write 2 songs for the beginning and the end. And they wanted him to sing the opening song, but Sting felt like he was too old and thought that they should get somebody younger to sing the song. And then they ended up choosing Tom Jones, who was 11 years older than Sting. Then Walt Disney Company head Michael Eisner, he was worried that it was going to be too close in tone to Hercules, which had more comedic elements to it. But they tried to assure him that because of the small cast, that it would attract a bigger audience. And so they went into animation. Andreas Deja was going to animate Yzma, but when they changed her character from a more evil character to kind of like a more comedic character, he wasn't interested in doing it anymore. And so Rick Ranieri was assigned to do Yzma. And Yzma, of course, was voiced by the wonderful Eartha Kitt. And that was an inspired move in and of itself. Dale Bear ended up taking over for Yzma after Ranieri, and he really enjoyed watching Eartha Kitt's body language when she spoke, and really tried to incorporate a lot of that. Like, he just saw that she gestured quite a bit, and then she would go and like break up laughing, and so he thought that was really hilarious, and incorporated that as well. There were 400 artists and 300 technicians who worked on the film, and outside of the Walt Disney Feature Animation Studio in Burbank, they also used crews in Florida, as well as in Paris. So the film was eventually released in December of 2000, and unfortunately it did not do well. It was considered a box office disappointment and made quite a bit less than any of the films of the 1990s. And so despite that, though, it does have a cult following now. A lot of people love the film and love the comedy. Critics actually did like the film. They thought that the comedy was good, and really cited the vocal performances, especially Eartha Kitt and Patrick Warburton on the film, as being really great. And so, yeah, it does have more of a cult following now. Um, like I said, I really love this film. It makes me laugh every time that I watch the film. Eartha Kitt is just such a wonderful voice. I mean, like, she really got into that character, and that was really great. I mean, the fact that she took over that comedy and the way that she said her lines, that really makes the film for me, is Yzma. Everything else is kind of gravy, but Yzma is the cherry on top of the cake. I don't know. I'm mixing food metaphors. I guess maybe everything else is chocolate sauce, while she's the cherry on top on top of the sundae. Let's just say that. Okay. Anyway, I really enjoyed the film. I also really enjoyed the character design. I like the simplicity and the geometrical shape that go into the design of the characters. And Yzma is just such again, wonderfully designed character. They made her look ugly, but yet funny. And I just adore her. I really just adore that character. Okay, well, what did you think of The Emperor's New Groove? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. I would really love to know. Otherwise, if you had a good time, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. 64% of you are not subscribed to the channel, and we would really love you to just hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below. Visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you later. Bye!